Welcome back, everybody, to the Insightful Podcast. We gain insight in order to move forward in life. Today, I'm going to be speaking about how to master discipline and stop relying on motivation. I don't know why I said it like that, but let's get into this. You guys know how I like to break it down. I always have 5 points and I just go through each of them. So let's get into the first point. You need to realize that motivation is temporary. Systems are permanent. Motivations fade, but structured habits and routines keep you moving forward, even when you don't feel like it, right? And this is the best thing I always tell to everyone that wants to start getting into the gym, right? When you want to start getting into a gym, there is an emotion that happens, right? Maybe you look at yourself and you don't like what you see in the mirror, or maybe you just feel like you're meant for more, and that emotion is strong, right? It's a deep emotion. So that motivation might last a good amount of time. It might last a week, 2 weeks, a month, but then eventually it starts to fade, right? So where does discipline come in? Discipline comes in when you tell yourself, okay, I'm going to the gym every single day, or I'm going to the gym 5 times a week at 7 a.m. 7 a.m., I'm at the gym, I'm there for an hour, and then I leave. No matter what day it is, that is when I'm at the gym. When you're able to kind of implement that system where you know exactly what you're doing at 7, you're hitting the gym, that is when you're able to make it a more permanent thing, right? That is when it's more permanent, when you are actually having a system and a time where you are doing this thing, right? So I always tell everyone, if you want to start going to the gym, start by going in the morning, because if you go in the morning, you will realize that once it is completed, you don't give yourself time to procrastinate, right? But even if it's not in the morning, it's just having a blocked out time for you to do this thing. When I started learning copywriting, it was very hard for me to stay consistent in my studies because I was just saying, I'm going to do copywriting today at some point, right? When I didn't have a specific time frame of when I was going to do it, that is exactly when I would put it off for days or I wouldn't do it at all, right? It was only when I started to have a set schedule for it, that's when I actually started to make progress. So systems are super important if you want to stop relying on your motivation. The next thing is the 2 minute rule. Start small. If a task feels overwhelming, commit to it just 2 minutes. Action creates momentum, which leads to discipline. This is super important. I'll give the reading analogy. If you're someone that never reads and you want to get into reading, all you have to do is pick up the book and tell yourself, I'm going to read 2 pages. Once you read 2 pages, you'll see that you're actually enjoying it and you actually feel proud because you actually told yourself you were going to do something and you followed through with it. And then once you do that, you'll realize, okay, I'm going to read a bit longer. So any task you do that feels daunting, that feels long, just tell yourself, you want to know what? I'm going to do just a little bit of it and then we'll see from there. And most of the time, you're gonna end up doing longer, right? How many times, if you're someone that consistently goes to the gym, you go to the gym and you're not feeling the best, but after 2 sets you feel great, the pump's coming on, and you end up having an amazing workout. That's why I feel like it's super important that anytime you have a daunting task, to just tell yourself, I'm just going to do a little bit, but then you realize you never actually just do a little bit. The next point is remove decision fatigue. The more choices you have, the more willpower you drain. Automate small decisions, meals, workouts, routines, so you have energy for what truly matters. This is super important because even right now, I'm struggling with this. I haven't been on top of meal prepping, and then I'll wake up and ask myself, okay, what am I going to eat today in order to hit my protein, right? That takes mental points, right? I like that concept. I think Hamza was the first one to speak about it. It's like you have mental points, you have brain points, and you have a certain amount. When you get a good night's rest, you wake up with a certain amount. And wherever your focus goes, that's when those points are minused from your brain, I guess. And if you struggle and think too much about what you're going to eat, how you're going to hit your protein goal, you'll actually see that you'll just get tired throughout the day because you won't have enough time to be creative or to work on the things that you care about because you've been thinking about so many other things and spending brain points, right? So if you're able to, know exactly what workout you're going to do when you go to the gym, know exactly what you're going to eat on a day-to-day basis. You know what time you're going to go to sleep, and you know what time you're going to wake up. Let's take a quick break to speak about the sponsor for the podcast. I am now working with a company called Attilius Apparel, and if you want Christian fitness wear that looks like this, or this, click the link in the description. Now let's get back into the podcast. You don't really have to spend excuse me. You don't have to spend any brain points on those type of thoughts, right? So that's a really good thing, is removing decision fatigue. The next thing is embracing discomfort as a habit. Train yourself to do hard things daily. Discipline grows when you consistently step outside your comfort zone. And this is why I always come back to it. And I just said it before and I'll say it again. Going to the gym in the morning is great because it is uncomfortable. You have to wake up from your comfortable bed. It's warm. It feels nice. And you have to wake up and force yourself to go to the gym in the morning and hit a hard workout. One of the worst things you could feel as a person is waking up at 4 a.m. And I was doing this before. Waking up at 4 a.m. Excuse me, boys and ladies. I didn't get much sleep last night. That's why I keep yawning. But what I was going to say is one of the most uncomfortable feelings is waking up at 4 a.m. when you got only 4 hours of sleep, walking to the bus stop, right? Taking the bus to the gym in the cold, the Canadian cold, and then hitting a leg day. That has got to be the worst morning, bro. And I don't know how I used to do it, but I did. And I'm telling you, that was very uncomfortable. I did not want to do it. But I know I was super disciplined back then because I know within myself I wouldn't do that now. And most people wouldn't want to do it in the first place. So I know that doing something extremely difficult as a habit, seeking discomfort constantly, is what's going to allow you to build up that skill of discipline. And this is the final point that I want to close off with, and I think this might be something that people don't speak about enough, is stop saying, I need to be disciplined. Instead, embody the identity, I am a disciplined person. When discipline becomes part of who you are, it is no longer a struggle, right? If you keep calling yourself lazy, I have no motivation, I can't do it, that's not who I am, I'm not built like that, how are you ever going to expect to do it in the first place? Because you know within yourself, you are already telling yourself you can't do it, right? Sorry, boys. But that is exactly it, right? When you want to take the identity of someone that, I'm a good podcaster, I feel like I ask good questions. Imagine I constantly told myself, man, this podcast thing, I'm not that great at it. Maybe my questions were bad. If I start to identify myself with a person like that, you'll see that I'll be less confident with how I'm speaking. I'll be less confident with how I'm interviewing guests, right? The identity that you place upon yourself is one of the most important things that builds who you are. So you need to always have the identity of I'm disciplined. Maybe I had a little slip up, but I am a disciplined person. I know I can consistently do this thing. And only then will all these other points help you as well. Because if in the beginning you don't even have the identity of a disciplined person, you will struggle with discipline till you sort that out. That is everything I want to go over. If you're still watching, thank you for making it this far. I apologize for all the yawning because, I am tired, but I'm still here and I'm not going to complain about it because I love doing this podcast. So thank you guys for tuning in. Remember to like, comment, subscribe, and also let me know any topics you'd like me to discuss in the future. I'll catch you guys on the next episode. Take care, everybody.
Crush a cold to a diamond, eyes forever shining. Your beauty alone inspire a nigga to rhyming.